Today we're heading off the beaten track into a county known for its lakelands and being an area to disconnect. Welcome to County Cavan. Hi, thanks so much for joining me again here on the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Today we're heading to County Cavan. Now, it's one of those spots in Ireland that rewards travelers who enjoy slowing down a bit. It's known for its lakelands and waterways, wide open spaces, and it's a region where the landscape really shapes your experience, whether that's getting out on the water, exploring by bike, or spending time outdoors without a packed schedule. Before I introduce you to my guest, I want to just give you a reminder. If you visit a place that you heard about on the podcast, be sure to let them know. This helps me to get more great guests to share more terrific Ireland attractions and tips. So go ahead and be a name dropper. Just say, I heard about you on the Traveling in Ireland podcast. Today, I am joined by Sean Thornton, who is the owner of the Cavan Adventure Center, to talk about why this often overlooked part of Ireland and the unique experiences on Lough Oughter, and why adventure here is less about adrenaline and more about connection. So, Sean, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to learn more about your part of Ireland.
Anyway, thanks very much, Jody, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm Sean, the owner of Cavan Adventure Center, and I'm also an organic farmer. I'm one of those people who believes in the land, the water, and who also it's not just a scenery, it's part of my symbol. So what we do here is help people get out in the lakes, move their bodies, breathe proper fresh air again, and experience a part of Ireland is really in the right way.
Excellent. So before we dig into your business, let's talk a little bit about County Cavan, because that's not a part of Ireland that a lot of my listeners, North American, Australian, will really have much of a sense of. It's not one of those places that hits that top 10 list, right? So how would you describe County Cavan?
Well, first of all, as Cavan is the biggest lakelands, we have a lake for every day of the year. It's full of drumlins, forests, and quiet roads. And it's not for everywhere. It's not for the tour buses of Ireland. It's people for the first experience. It feels like it's really fresh air here. And if you want nature and experience that doesn't feel rushed, Cavan is a place for you. So it's not, as I said, it's not for the big bus loads we don't take. It's for the people that wants to off the beaten track, gets into nature and go off in their own time and don't worry about their time. Just go out there and enjoy their own space.
It's definitely a place to slow down and enjoy where you are. Yeah, it's such a wonderful area. Now, Cavan sits close to the Northern Ireland border. So how does that location kind of shape the visitor's experience? You know, like you said, you're not getting tour buses up there. So that's a big reason why people don't really know much about Cavan, because those bus tours don't get there. So it's not an area that's really promoted. So how would you say that affects the visitor experience?
It's for the people that wants to go back into nature. And did you also ask, are we on the border area?
You're right there at the border of Northern Ireland. So that gives it a very unique experience as well. I know you're not far from like County Fermanagh, where you're located, and that can give a whole different feel to your vacation.
So yeah, it makes it brilliant for exploring. You're within easy reach of boats on both sides of the border. Visitors can build a trip, mixes lakes, caves and forests, and those great little towns and villages, without spending the whole time traveling.
Definitely a highlight. I think that to be able to get those different experiences in kind of a smaller area, it's perfect for those people who want that home base, who say, you know what, I want to settle in one spot and really enjoy it. Now, this area is a little bit, like we've said, a secret for the tourists, but it's very popular for outdoor recreation. So what would you say it is that draws people to Cavan? maybe not necessarily the sights, but is it more of a feeling or, what do people come to Cavan to experience?
Well, it's the space. So people arrive worn up and they leave softer.
I like that.
So some things about being on water, surrounded by the wide skies, the quiet land, it takes you out of your own head and you don't just see it, you feel it.
So is there anything that people should know or kind of prepare for if they decide to add an experience in Cavan to their trip? What should they keep in mind as they're kind of making their plans?
Ireland, we get lots of rain. Yeah, so a few things, but you need to wear big extra spare layers of clothes, rain jackets, and give yourself plenty of time. So this isn't a place to rush, just not. If you're doing activities with us, book ahead in the busy times. So if you're doing kayaking or paddleboarding, don't worry, we're used to beginners and we keep it very active. We get a lot of people that hasn't done stuff before and we take them in slow motion and we always make sure they're comfortable and send them off.
Excellent. So prepare for the weather and don't be in a rush.
It's not for the mad tourists and attraction. It's for the people that wants to go back in the nature and connect with the landscape and the waterways.
Oh, lovely. So the highlights of Cavan, I think that what people may know about the area is Lough Oughter Castle. Probably an image that people have seen, the castle on the island in the middle of the lake. It's really a special spot because it sits on a crannog, which is a man-made island. So what does that tell us about the origins of, the castle and maybe the settlement of the area?
Well, you see, again, it's a unique building we have on the waterways. So it's one of those places that feels like it shouldn't ever be real. This stone castle sits on the water. A lot of people see a photo of it and think it's a moving set, but it's the real thing. And the fact it's out on the lake makes the whole experience feel like an adventure, even if it's gentle. The Normans would build this castle back in the 13th century, and then the O'Reillys, natives of Cavan, would have taken it over on them. But there's a massive history behind the castle. And then it tells you about the area that's been lived on for a long time. So the crannogs on the islands are a reminder that the lakes, they're not just scenic in Ireland, they were protected. So people used to, before going back in BC's time, people used to live in these crannogs and they were protected from other wild animals coming and attacking them. It was the main route of the transport and passing. The routes the people used to use are cuts. So going back, we say that time there was no roadways, so the waterways was our motorways and our highways. So it's a way of life. So you're just looking at layers of history on one view. So it's a layer of past times that happened in that area.
Yeah, with the crannogs, you're going back to the Bronze and Iron Age. Now, I know that the island is only accessible by boat, but once upon a time, there would have been some sort of way possibly to get out there, maybe an underwater pathway built. I don't know if there's any evidence of that. I know that some did have that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I looked into research, but no, there was no under tunnel to it.
No under on that one. How does it change the way visitors can experience Lough Oughter? I mean, obviously, they're only getting to it by boat. And I know that you have, can they get to it by stand-up paddleboard as well, or is it only by kayak with you?
It's mostly look, it changes everything. Approaching a place like that by water, on a boat or kayak or canoe, the water slows you down. You notice the silence, the boards, the light on the lake. It's not, you don't arrive for a quick snap of a photo and leave. No, you feel your errands a journey. And that's what people remembers. It's a time out and not time again. It's not fast up and down a quick photo saying I was at this castle. So you just go back in time again and you can take it all in your own time and stop at the castle and walk on the castle.
That's got to be such a unique experience to be able to, you're slowly approaching it by kayak. You're able to circle the whole thing. That has to be just such an incredible day out. Are there any other spots in and around that area that people might want to consider visiting or that they might miss if they're in too much of a rush?
Well, yeah, again, if you're into wildlife, it's people, again, the lakes are full of little nukes and cranugs, and you can find a peaceful pocket, the fields miles from everywhere. And then you have nearby forests and walking routes. So you can spend a half a day on the water and then pull up your kayak or your boat and go up to woodland and take your time out there walking.
So if people were to book an experience like that with you, are they getting, like a map of the area? Or tell us a little bit about what the Cavan Adventure Center provides to people when they do an activity with you. Tell us a little bit about the business and what people can do.
The business is set up now from 08 because I'm still a farmer, but I'm an organic farmer now. So the location we build the centre on is 45 minutes to the castle by kayak. We do a lot of water activities. We do kayaking, paddleboards. We do group activities. We do schools, family and corporate groups. We also have land-based activities like biking and connecting people with the place. So it's not just a quick thrill. It's you go home with a memory. It's a memory of the place. We're also based, the landscape is native to us and we learn into the whole well-being side of it. So being outdoors is medicine, whether people call it that or not. So we try to keep everyone out, even though it's wet. If it's not stormy, we try to make sure everyone comes prepared and everything we do is out in the woodlands, on the water. And that's where we connect with the water and the land. And the mountains, or little drumlins, sorry, or as we call them. They're called baby mountains here, but they're from the Ice Age. So we're left with a massive pile of drumlins.
So when people, let's say they're going out in a kayak, you just like go that way, or do they have some sort of, map or?
We have maps, but it's quite easy to get to. But we have maps, and then we always spend time with the people, get them used to a kayak or canoe. If they're happy enough to go off on their own. But if they want a guide, we have guides to go with someone. But 90% of our customers goes off on their own. And they have their own, 3 hours, really. That's the kind of time it is. They have 3 hours out in a canoe or kayak if they want longer.
So how many activities do you offer at the Cavan Adventure Center? We've talked a lot about the water activities because, you have so many opportunities out there. But what other kind of activities can people do with you?
Yeah, we do bushcraft as well in the woodlands. And then we do biodiversity days as well. So we talk about what all the trees, the plants and, what they're doing for the climate and protecting the whole landscape. All our activities we do is just there's no carbon. We are pretty well situated. And what else we do? So yeah, we do a lot of biking as well in the forest park. So people again can rent their bikes out and go off, do their own thing or again with a guide. And then we have Nuala. She's part of a whole wellbeing centre here. We have a wellbeing centre. So she brings groups out and do yoga and little talks and try to get them all leave their phones in the centre and they can't put any noise with them. Everything has to be left there and they go out and they switch their heads off. And that does be his job sometimes, getting their heads switched off. So once a half an hour gets them out there, they start relaxing then and enjoying it. And then they don't want to leave the woodlands. But that's the biggest thing is having the TikTok phone is part of them and they have to bring it with them. So that doesn't be allowed to come. They have to leave that behind them.
Yes, of course, of course. So I know that you mentioned earlier in the conversation that you highly recommend booking in advance. So where can people find out more about you and handle any bookings?
Yeah, we have a good website, cavanadventure.ie, and then we're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So we're very easy to find.
Perfect. And my listeners know that all the links will be shared in the show notes so they can easily get a hold of you. So what would you say, Sean, if you were trying to convince a North American visitor to come to County Cavan for a few days? What would you say to them? How would you entice them to come and visit? Are you ready to hit the road in Ireland? Whether you're heading to County Cavan or beyond, when it's time to compare car rental prices, check out Irish Car Rentals, my top pick for great vehicles and outstanding customer service. Plus, I have a special treat, an exclusive 10% discount when you book using link IrelandFamilyVacations.com/ICR. So start your journey the smart way, save more, and explore more with Irish Car Rentals. Remember to get that 10% discount, use link IrelandFamilyVacations.com/ICR.
It would be nice. I know we have a lot of water and we have a lot of little channels, even though there's not a lot of water. I think it would be nice to get a little boat trip or kayak or canoe. And we experience the water. And then you have to go to our local little villages and towns for some local food. And, do at least one proper forest walk. Cavan has quite a number of lovely lakes and woodlands. So they can always bring a nice flask with them. Take your time and don't be surprised. It could be the most memorable part of the trip, a forest walk. And also the local food and local people. We have all local homemade foods now in all little shops, and they're all small little cafes. So try the local stuff and have a chat. Cavan is full of people telling their jokes and their stories of all the people goes off with all these past chats of memories. Then again, we have again lots of nice hotels, but there is lovely B&Bs again, local farm B&Bs, there's accommodation. So there's a lot in Cavan that don't have to get into or travel far. With nice food, local foods, in local delis and local little restaurants and food and little shops. And we do have a lot of Americans, they find us for some reason off the castle, because going back generations of families, there is a lot of O'Reillys has left Ireland back maybe a couple of 100 years ago. There will be O'Reillys themselves. So they come to us because they need to go to this castle to find why is this O'Reilly castle? Is it some part of them? They're connected to it. So we have my brother-in-law, he's a Geopark ambassador. So he just take them off there and he'd spend 3 hours with them on this castle, going through every little information. And they'll come with a notebook and a whole list of questions to ask about this castle, about the O'Reillys. We would get a good few Americans coming, but it's just for the castle, the experience of their own part of this castle.
Gotcha. So come for the castle and stay for the rest. Well, Sean, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, for talking a little bit more about Cavan and the adventures that you offer there at the Cavan Adventure Center. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much too, Jody, and thanks for having me. If anyone's planning a trip, we'd love to welcome them. If you arrive stressed, don't worry, the lakes has a way of calming you down, guys. And we look after you very well. So thanks again, Jody.
County Cavan is one of those places that you really do have to make the attempt to visit, right? It's not along your tried and trusted tourism routes. But if you're looking for that escape, that place to really connect with the area and let everything else go, I don't know that you could find a better spot to do it. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, please leave a 5-star review at Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you can't leave a review on your podcast app, visit IrelandFamilyVacations.com/trust and just say a few nice words at Trustpilot. I would really appreciate it. If you have questions or comments about this episode, you can email me, Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. As always, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, Slán go fóill.